What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. So first, let's get the Dax Hill angst out of the way. First, I can't say that I'm surprised that Dax Hill ended up at Michigan. And for those of you who watched the 17-minute video about Matter Day and Dax Hill, you would know that I said that from jump when he took his official, right? I don't think that you can expect a kid to commit to a school that he didn't take an official visit to. And he never took an official visit to Oklahoma. For that matter, he never took an official to Clemson. So the only thing, I think there were only really three schools that were in the running for Dax Hill, and it was Michigan, Alabama, and Oklahoma State. And Oklahoma State is because of his brother, Justice Hill. And it's not just because his brother went to school there. It's because his brother went to school there and because his brother is the star tailback there, he knows a lot about the university. I mean, he had even mentioned knowing exactly what kind of living situation he would be going into, how much he knew about the coaches, how much he knew about the school. And I think that Oklahoma State, if anybody, should be the most upset about losing out on Dax Hill. I don't know that Oklahoma can really get upset except to say, from the coaching standpoint, hey, man, set up shop in the kid's front yard and go to school. But I also don't think that Dax was responding to that kind of recruiting. I don't think for him it's about showing him how much you want him there. I think he just wanted somebody to come up with the goods. And when you're looking at Michigan, they got all the things that he would want. They check all the boxes, man. Look, they have a good football program, despite what we think about khakis up there. Michigan goes way back. They have an outstanding academic department, really, when you're talking about the way that they treat their athletes. Their athletes come out not just with degrees, but they also come out with connections. And being a Michigan man is still a big deal. I mean, a guy I went to school with at Memorial, this would be Tulsa Memorial. His name is Wes Phillips. Wes Phillips ended up going to Yale, right? And I don't think that it's by chance that he ended up going to medical school at Michigan. He wants to be a neuroscientist or a neurologist. One of the ist things, right? Scientist, one of those ist at the end of his name. But that's where you go. So if you can do it, do it. But also from a football standpoint, man. Look, we know what kind of competition you're going to see if you play defensive back in the Big Ten. We can't ignore that. We can't ignore that they don't throw the ball all around the yard like they do in this league. And we can't ignore that Jabril Peppers just went into the league after leaving Michigan. And he basically played both ways and was their best player. And he plays the same position Dax plays. We can also point to Charles Woodson, who was the last defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy. He played both ways, and he played safety. I mean, we can keep going here, right? And I can see how this is a good situation for Dax. He is sound of mind. He is sound of body. He wants to be academically tested as well as athletically tested. So I think Oklahoma wasn't going to compete with that. I just don't see it that way. And I also gotta mention it, man. The number one recruit in the state of Oklahoma has left the state back-to-back years. Coincidentally, both of them have been safeties. Josh Proctor at Owasso ended up at Ohio State. Now Dax Hill has committed to Michigan. And for those of you who don't buy into verbal commitments, buy into this one. I mean, Dax had all the time in the world. And he still has all the time in the world. But I don't see this kid being wishy-washy about almost anything. I don't think he's wishy-washy about whether or not he likes cheese on his burgers. I think that he made this decision clear-eyed. And if you read the insider pieces at the Michigan Insider, which you can if you are a 24/7 subscriber, you could see that his parents were in on Michigan too. And I tell folks all the time, if the parents aren't in on the school, neither is the kid. You lose them, period. I mean, you have to convince parents before you convince kids, really. And I think that every parent of a big-time recruit would say the same. They have to like the school. They have to feel like they can send their child away there for 4 years and not lose anything. And if anything, be kept in on the loop on what's going on. Like when you talk about kids transferring and you talk about kids having a bad experience, a lot of time there's been a disconnect with the parents. Now, it's not every coach's responsibility to stay in touch with parents, and many of them don't. But I guarantee you those that do end up having a really good football player on their hands because they got them from both sides. They got them from the coaching side, and then they got parents going, I talked with Coach so-and-so. He asked me to relay to you that you're valued here and that they want you to stay here. And I also think this is a good situation for you. So, you want to have the parents in your corner when you're recruiting a kid like this, especially when everybody wants the kid to come to school to play for them. And that's what you had with Dax Hill. So with that, I'm going to get into the chat, and I know that I probably missed the super chat because, well, I didn't actually have the chat open before I started doing the monologue. But let's see what I am in for store here. See who's in the chat. It's loading. Give it a second. It's loading. 92 watching. That's what's up. Who's in here? Load the chat. $10. Okay, hey, man. Jacob Franklin, does our defense play with a chip on their shoulder after last week? Will someone challenge them? Keep taking them, Church RJ. Appreciate that, Jacob. I don't, I think the defense has been playing to its competition. I give them this some thought, right? Because they weren't exactly outstanding UCLA, and they knew or wanted to get tested by Florida Atlantic. Didn't end up being that big of a test, and it was also the first game of the season, so everybody's adrenaline is going, everybody's blood is flowing, and you want to show what you're made of, and you're tired of beating up on your brothers. You want to go beat up on somebody else's children. But I don't see a test, and that's what's worrisome for me, right? If I'm watching the defense, they didn't look good against Iowa State. Now, Iowa State was good last year, right? They were more than decent. And they'll be decent this year because Matt Campbell is a great football coach, but that ain't world beaters over there, man. Those aren't the guys that are going to test you for Big 12 titles and the guys that you're going to see in a college football playoff. And you saw me being sarcastic about how I was referring to Zeb Nolan passing for over 350 against OU, and how David Montgomery in space was basically trucking everybody, and how Hakeem Butler was doing his Josh Gordon thing on Parnell Motley and company. Because that's not a great football team. They're okay. Like, they're the O and the K. That's it. So for them to kind of take you to school, to talk about the passing game, that's not a good look for you. Now, puppy secondary, and I said that too. They're young. You got a redshirt freshman who had 10 tackles, which, wow, big deal for Justin Broyles, big deal for the secondary. We know that Buki can play. He didn't have the best game, but he didn't have a bad game. Parnell Motley looked as good as he did bad. He's okay. Trey Norwood could leave something to be desired, but Trey Brown is going to continue to figure into that rotation. Still, man, that's just not a good look against Iowa State. And Army plays a totally different kind of football. Dieter asked about Turner Yell 25 seconds. 25. Okay, I'll get there, Robert. I promise. I just want to finish this thought. Thank you for the $10 super chat. So we're not going to see much, right? We're just not going to see much until, honestly, TCU, because TCU's offense, particularly their running backs in that run game, looks like a problem. I mean, if we watched the Ohio State game, and TCU should have won that game. But I'm going to move on to Dieter asking about Delarrin Turner Yell. So, safety, Delarrin Turner Yell. Got hurt just a little bit before the season started. Haven't seen him. And honestly, I don't expect to see him. I expect him in a red shirt now because we can count on one hand how many freshmen red shirt or have played right away, played in all 3 games, right? And you're talking about TJ Pledger, you're talking about Brendan Radley-Hiles, you're talking about Ronnie Perkins, you're talking about Jalen Robinson, wide receiver, and then Braden Willis, who I'm going to talk about at length here in the coming days, I would think, because he's a guy that they're just finding ways to get him on the football field because, as Lincoln said in the Monday presser, they didn't really know what they had. And now that they do, they're like, oh my goodness, we really got to get this guy playing. But I expect to see Delarrin Turner Yell do the red shirt thing. I think he'll take the full red shirt. And why? Why not? I mean, you get Robert Barnes back, but also, why force it? Jordan Parker's there. You're going to have to deal with Khalil Houghton. Khalil Houghton is not – I don't see Khalil Houghton getting benched, right? I think he's still going to play. He won't – I don't think he'll start. I think Justin Broyles has earned that opportunity. But it ain't like you got absolute depth at safety, dude. You can't just be kicking Khalil Houghton out and bringing Delarrin Turner Yell in because they want to do that and they're not. So I think his injury – a little bit worse than folks have thought at first, right? And that's the end of that. You can't play guys who are hurt because they're hurt. Need I say more? So, I really got to do the roll call. Let me see. Brock Thompson, what's good? Steel Boy, what's good? Robert Lane in the house. Scotty Stevens. RJ on the toilet. Why would I be on the toilet? Impressed with the Jacoby commitment. That's Robert Lane, $25, and I'll get to that in just a second, Robert. Brendan Ludlow was good. Congrats on going to the Army game. Have fun. Johnny Brown in the house. 721 Jackson Avenue. Oh, okay. Rio Ray was good. Kirk Perez, I see you, fam. Jacob Franklin with the Super Chat. CBR Swag. Bobby Fry. Let me see. Josh Prokofsky. Bailey was good. Michael Davis Jr. in the house. Greg Tate, I see you. Roberto Hollis. I like that. Stephen Gordon was good. Mike McCoy, I see you. Let me see. Josh Redmond was good. Daniel Howry? I think it's Howry. Hope it's not Howry. Raise your hand if you blocked by Tim Brando. Me. Scotty Stevens was good. Eli Foltz was good. Highlight Greatness, I see you. Bobby Fry. Who else? Sean Robertson. Okie Visuals. Cool. Very cool. Haven't seen you before. Josh Redmond was good. Kyle Williams? Yeah, Kyle Williams. Matt Tucker was good, fam. With the Ric Flair. I'm glad everybody enjoyed the Ric Flair in yesterday's video. Gerald Mosley Jr. That was tacked on at the end. Michael Taylor, I see you. Matthew Bingham in the house. David Dukin. What's good, fam? Mama's in here. Trapper9, I see you. Don King. JB Farrell. Let me see. Some dude yelling about the SEC. Kev Hill. Derek Ives. What's good, fam? Who else got it? Doomlarious, we'll see you. Let's see. Dan Moore in the house. Who else we got? Mark Raines. What's good, fam? Mark Bauman in there. Zifnot? Long-time watcher. Love seeing Kyler Murray play as well. All right. Appreciate that, fam. Jack was good. Pure living for outdoors. Mama! Roscoe Parnell. Oh, Dan Moore. $5 for chat. Ever since Rodney Anderson went down, our bread and butter trap play has been garbage. Well, we don't run a bread and butter trap play, but I appreciate the super trap. We run a bread and butter counter play, but we can talk about it. We don't run a bread and butter trap. We run a bread and butter counter. Stay woke, fam. Jake Small in the house. Lamar Garrett was good. Carvin Jackson was good. Rachel was good. Joseph Cummings in here. Who else? All right, shout out to Mama, Laurel, Weapon X, Terry, Sydney's in here. Brave. I'm sure Brave and Weapon X catch us on the flip side, but hey, babe. So, Mark Estrada, black guys are free, Mike Stoops. Oh my goodness. So first, I want to get to Robert Lane's impressed with Jacoby commitment, right? For those of you that don't know, Oklahoma picked up a commit from the #1 strong side defensive end in Jacoby Jones out of Butler Community College. Big kid, right? Really impressive if you watch his film. Also, kind of shores up a defensive end position that is now loaded. Like, think about this for a second. Got Corey Robertson at defensive end, Marcus Hicks at defensive end, right? Who's going to be a stud. Joseph Wetday, who basically is a prototype for that jack linebacker position. And now you add Jacoby Jones to this. That's pretty stout, man. That's 4 defensive ends that really help you in the 2019 class. Matter of fact, might just add 1 or 2 might just add just 1 or 2 come the 2020 class, because that's a lot of defensive ends in one class. But also, hey, man, I don't think they're all going to be playing defensive end by the time they finish out here. Marcus Hicks, my goodness, he might be moving inside. He keeps getting any bigger. Joseph Wetday, again, that's a Mark Jackson player. That's an oboe player. That's a striker player. Corey Robertson, I look at him and I see a guy that looks a lot like DJ Ward was, and looks a lot like what Ronnie Perkins could be, although Ronnie Perkins is just an impressive guy. To be a true freshman, and any defensive lineman who wears a single digit, mad respect. Mad respect. You wearing number 7. Let me see. EJ and Domo Gar just text me and tell me MGK beat Eminem. Man, EJ, I love you, dog, but child, please, you need to go back and listen to the Marshall Mathers LP. Get out of here with that MGK. Waka Flocka did a better job on the MGK's track than MGK. AJ with the triple option, $5. What do you want to know about the triple option? Other than it's, kind of legit. And it's been legit since like the 30s. It was legit when Oklahoma was running it. What else you want to know? They run a flex bone, which is a little bit different and incorporates wing backs or slot backs, depending on who you talk to, where most other folks call it running backs, and it's a little bit looser of a formation in the way that they line up. But what do you want to know? Hold up. Whose birthday is it? Colleen? Happy birthday to, Michael Taylor's wife, Colleen. birthday. Very cool. Michael watches the channel all the time, and I appreciate you allowing him to do so. Very cool. Happy birthday. Wait, what is she, Michael? 24, 25, something like that? All right, very cool. Who else we got in here? I'm looking for question marks because I go on rants, and then I miss the chat, and folks are like, shout out to whoever, which is fine. I'm just pointing it out. First time here, and I love it. Appreciate that, Dieter. We have a good time, dog. It's fun off in here. Defensive package for Army, what you think? It's got to be Mike's 3-4, and it better be a 50 front. It better be the outside linebacker standing on the edge, which makes it a 5-man front with 2 linebackers in the middle. And I'm going to get into this in tomorrow's video, but Curtis Bolton and Kenneth Murray Jr. better show up because that fullback, Darnell Woolfolk, he's averaging 7.5 yards per carry. And if you can't stop the fullback dive, it'll be a very, very long day, especially if that dude gets into the secondary because, quite frankly, he's bigger than everybody else we got playing defensive back. So if he gets past Kenneth Murray and he gets past Curtis Bolton, it's over. Like, those dudes have to stop the run. They have to stop the fullback dive. They have to make Kelvin Hopkins pitch that football or hold on into it and get hit. Because if he can just hand that ball off to the fullback play after play, it ain't going to work for Oklahoma. And I keep telling folks that it ain't just that Army runs the triple option. It's that this Army football team is really good. And they've been really good for 2 years now. You know, they won 10 games last year. They beat Navy at their own game. And then they beat a good San Diego State team in a bowl game. It ain't easy, right? I know that Oklahoma's 31.5-point favorite. And I think Oklahoma will win by at least 4 touchdowns. But that first half, if it's still close going into halftime, bro, we know how Oklahoma's been playing in the second half. Come on, man. Come on, man. You got to put them out early. You have to get this game over with early because if you allow them to stick around and you don't have a 10-point lead, yeah, that's in their wheelhouse. That's absolutely in their wheelhouse. Do a video on Millwood High. No. Replace OK State with Tech. Why are we talking about bringing... What? Why are we talking? We're still talking about adding people to the Big 12? Is that what we're doing? Stop that. Stop that. What else we got in here? Sorry, guys. Girlfriend is hungover bad, and our 2-year-old is being 2. More about that, Matthew. Please. We're here for that. We're here for that story. His girlfriend is hungover, and his 2-year-old is being peak 2. All right. It's a party at Matthew's house, and he's got the chat open. This ought to be good. This ought to be real good. Tackling issues on players or Mike. Yes. Look, I made that video, right? And if you didn't go watch the 5 takeaways video, you can go do it because I'm just going to do an abbreviated section here and just say, Mike Stoops recruits the players who are supposed to tackle. And if they don't tackle, what are they doing at practice? And if they're not tackling at practice, or they look bad tackling at practice, maybe practice should just be wrapping up people and learning how to tackle. But also, Kelly Lane brought up this point. You just assume that if you recruited to Oklahoma and you come to Oklahoma, you already know how to tackle. But we also know that that kind of ain't the case anymore, right? So, yes, players have to tackle. But Mike Stoops has the power to pull a player who doesn't tackle. And if you keep pulling players and you keep putting out guys that can't tackle, that's on the defense coordinator because those are your kids running your scheme. And if your scheme does not include wrapping people up, putting them on the ground, that's a bad scheme. Now, Lincoln Riley went as far as to say on Monday, if you don't tackle, you won't be in the game. So I'm interested to see how this plays out against Army, which is the one game on the schedule where everybody better be able to tackle. Flat out, full stop. Because if you can't tackle that Army football team, again, very, very, very long day. Playing some for real soldiers in a game of football. All right? Nah, man. Like, I want to know if you don't tackle, you won't be in the game thing extends to the way that, it does for running backs and fumbles. Because you might remember Abdul Adams was the number 1 tailback at Oklahoma. And yeah, Rodney Anderson did his thing, but you didn't see many more of Abdul Adams because he started fumbling the rock. So I want to know if fumbling the rock is the same as missing tackles. Because if it is, there's a lot of folks that won't play the rest of the year if they miss tackles. And I'm really interested to see how that plays out. Because for me, missing tackles is the same as fumbling the rock. There is no excuse. There is no excuse for not wrapping somebody up when you put your hands on them and put them on the ground. There is no excuse for that. No more of this rolling into dudes, throwing your shoulders into dudes. No, stick your face mask in somebody's chest, wrap your arms around their hamstrings, and pin them to the ground. Hog tie. Otherwise, what are we doing out here playing defense? So that's what I want to see. I want to see how far Lincoln is willing to take this. Because a lot of y'all, rightfully so, even though Khalil Houghton graded out pretty well, have a problem with Khalil Houghton because he's not tackling. Because Hakeem Butler put him on his highlight reel. Put him on the poster. And you can say that about Buki. And you can even say that about Justin Broyles, who had 10 tackles. So that's what I'm really interested to see, is who gets to play and who doesn't get to play after they miss a tackle. Shout out for Stephen and prayers. Very cool. Stephen Gordon, we're still praying. Let me see. Robert Lane, doing the most out here. I appreciate it, Robert. Let's see. Greg Tate, do you think that bringing in OU wrestling to help teach football players will help them with tackling or the O-line? No. And I'm a wrestler. It's not the same. And folks who want to say that wrestling is like football only played 1A or 2A football. They didn't play big-time football. Look, flat out. The difference is this. In wrestling, I am wrestling some other dude that weighs the exact same as I do when I got on the scale. In football, I am trying to bring to a ground a person who is bigger than me in more cases than not, but also smaller than me. So what good is it going to do me to wrestle with somebody or to tackle somebody who's my size? We don't play light man football. We play big boy football. And big boy football means that when you hit Hakeem Butler, I don't care that he's 6'6", 225. He needs to go down on the ground. Or I will find somebody who will do your job. That's the way that it works. This is football. What? Why? What for? For what? For who? Let me see. Jacob Franklin, $100 super chat when I hear Mama's take on the video with Free Mama. You can go back to a live stream to find Mama. It's been done, but I appreciate the super chat. And it's not as simple as you think it is, bro. Like, it takes a lot of work to even set up the stream. I appreciate wanting more Mama, but I also appreciate my schedule and hers. It ain't that simple. This is not the sports animal. There's a lot of folks that watch this channel. It's 8,000 of y'all. But it ain't so much that I can just go pick up shop and put it down. It's not that simple. Plus, Mama got her own life to lead, and not everything revolves around this channel as much as I would like it to. And I make it a big deal in my life. But it ain't so simple as me just going, yo, Mama, come sit down next to me and let's chop it up. I wish it was, but it's not. Maybe one day it will be, and we can do that. But today is not that day. So when that super chat comes, I'll remind you. I'll remind you as soon as that happens. Let me see. It's me, Wolfie. Yo, RJ. New. Seeking OG status. Any info on Quay? Would love to see him get some reps. Who are you calling Quay? Yeah, who are you calling Quay? I don't know who you're calling Quay. And no excuses. Yeah. I hear you. Let's see. Fine. I'll stop making excuses and I'll just stop talking about it. How about that? We can just end the conversation there. Mason is hasty. You think Buki will come into his own this season? No, I don't think any true freshman is going to come into his own this season. I don't think Creed Humphrey is coming into his own this season, and that's the guy that won the job. Like, that's the most underrated story of this entire week, is that Creed Humphrey basically solidly beat out Jonathan Alvarez with the Iowa State game. Bill Bedenbaugh has said Creed Humphrey's the starter going forward. He's earned the job. It's his. He still has to work. He still has to work harder than everybody else. But right now, he's my guy. And I thought that was telling. That was telling about both Creed Humphrey and how Bill Bedenbaugh evaluates talent. Because a lot of folks, for a long time, myself included, have said that Creed Humphrey's the dude, right? And we all thought that Creed Humphrey would be the starter by week 1. Now, it took 3 games, and shout out to Jonathan Alvarez, who absolutely showed up to work and will have to continue to show up to work. But I think that Creed Humphrey could be the next great center at Oklahoma. And I was listening to Austin Chadwick talk. Well, I was listening. He was talking with me about Creed Humphrey on the radio. And he was saying, I haven't seen a guy like this before play center at Oklahoma. And I was going, well, Gabe Agger was pretty good. Ben Hayburn was pretty good. But he's really high on Creed Humphrey. And as a dude that played offensive line, I tend to think what Austin Chadwick has to say is important and should be listened to. So a lot of folks need to really take into account what Bill Bedenbaugh said in that Creed Humphrey's the guy, right? And I wonder what this means for, I wonder what this means for Jonathan Alvarez going forward. Jaquaylin Crawford. He's asking about Jaquaylin Crawford. Yes, Jaquaylin Crawford, I think he's going to redshirt because we haven't seen him. I mean, that's it. Plus, you're talking about a slot position. Now, you got Nick Basquin, you got Drake Stoops, you got Miles Tease. Those are your three guys in the slot. You don't really have room. Who else why would you want to see Jaquaylin Crawford? Why not redshirt him? For that matter, I can make an argument that Jalen Robinson needs to be redshirted, although he's played 3 games. Also, is Michael Jones going to redshirt? That's a good question to ask. Because that was a guy that we thought sewed up the slot position last year, and not only did he not sew it up, he got moved. And then not only did he get moved, he got moved and made 3rd string behind a true freshman. That's not a good look. I think Jaquaylin Crawford is taking the Bray Walker and Daryl Simpson route of, we're just going to redshirt you. I mean, you're just not there yet. That's what I expect to see. Rachel, it's good. What will be the biggest challenge against Army? Appreciate the $25 super chat. Biggest challenge will be tackling. Biggest challenge will be tackling a triple option. Because I've said, and I will continue to say, it's not the big play that's going to hurt you with the triple option. Although they can't take it to the house, that's just not what they do. It is the big play on your psyche. It is an offense that lines up, says, we're running the ball. And you know we're running the ball. And we like that you know that we're running the ball. Because we're going to pound the rock and tell you we're going to ram it down your throat every single play. And you can't stop it. That is the biggest challenge of Army. It is the psychology of everybody in the stadium. Yeah, they're going to root for Oklahoma, but they're going to be rooting for Army too. Because who in this country is going to root against West Point cadets? It ain't going to happen. Like, we want Oklahoma to win, but you're not going to get the same sort of vitriol that you might get for, say, Texas, right? That's not going to happen. You're not going to get the same vitriol for Baylor. That's not going to happen. Even UCLA, who doesn't really have that much history with Oklahoma, it's not going to be on the same level. Everybody in the stadium is going to be iffy about rooting against Army. And nobody is going to be really terribly over-the-top upset at losing to Army in the way that they would against Texas. It'd be bad. People would be really upset. But not because Army beat Oklahoma. It'd be because Oklahoma didn't beat Army. So just the way that this is playing on their minds and the way that the triple option demands you to be assignment sound and you just don't see it. So there's just a lot of things that are coming together for Oklahoma, and I could see this going bad. I don't think it's going to go bad. I still think Oklahoma's going to win by 4 touchdowns. But it's still there, and it's there in a way that, say, it's not there for Kansas, right? It's there in a way that it shouldn't be there for Baylor. That's the biggest challenge for me. I want to see this team continue to develop, and the biggest development needs to take place at tackling, and that's what this game ought to be. It's just one large tackling drill that goes on for 60 minutes. Let me see. What else we got in here? Hopefully, our Sooner Nation shows much respect to Army, win or lose. I don't have any worries about that, Robert. One of the things that I actually quite adore about OU fans is there ain't one of them that ain't pro-military. It's just, that's how we're built here, man. Both my parents are vets, for those of you that don't know. But I don't see that happening for Oklahoma. Matter of fact, I think the team itself has some things planned for Oklahoma, and not just because this Army program introduced Oklahoma to the rest of the country, and stopping Glenn Davis, stopping Doc Blanchard, 1946, even though they won the game, really did a lot for Oklahoma as far as national exposure, because the way that Barry Tremble actually put it, and I thought this was really apt, was Army was the Alabama of its day, and Oklahoma was like a mid-major. And in only losing 21-7 and then taking a 7-7 game deep into the game, it was like, wow, okay, this OU team can play. And they could. They finished the season 8-3. In a couple years, they won a Sugar Bowl, and then a few years after that, won the first national championship. So that's one way that you can go up to Army and say, yo, appreciate you, because they didn't really have to schedule that game. It's also another bit of lore that I've read from Barry. It's the first time that the team traveled on a plane, and then Jim Tatum put two different squads on two different planes because he thought that if one went down, they could still play the game because they'll be alive, not knowing that they probably canceled the game if one of them went down and killed the team and the players on that plane. Just be a bad look. Let me see. Stephen Morton. New to the channel. Love your work. Which upcoming games scare you the most? Appreciate that, Stephen. Army. And that goes back like months. For months, I've been saying Army is the scariest game on the schedule to me. And it's the scariest game on the schedule to me for all the reasons that I have espoused about to this point. But also, yo, man, these are pro soldiers. This is what they don't play football for a living. They don't want to play football for a living. They want to be officers in the United States Army. They're preparing to go to war. In many cases, they're preparing to go to places like Iraq and Afghanistan. That is not the kind of people that I want to play football against if I'm 19 to 23 years old and think about playing the NFL, or Kyler Murray going to play Major League Baseball. That's not who I want on my schedule. And shout out to folks that schedule Army on the regular, because that's not a game that I just seek. They run a ridiculous offense that nobody sees, but is really effective. They run just a few plays, but they run them really, really well. And because of the kind of person that they are, the character that they have, how hard it is to get into a service academy, they're well-trained and well-disciplined. Two things that you don't see a lot of in college football. You see a lot of talent, and you see a lot of mistakes that are made up because these guys are talented. But in Army, you have a bunch of guys who are athletically sound, who know how to play the game of football, who know how to use leverage to win games, and who will not beat themselves. It's just a scary game for me on the schedule, bro. And it will always be a scary game for me on the schedule. David, thank you for the contribution. I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate that. Let's see. What else we got in here? Free Ray, just joined Archer. Sorry for being like, you're good, folks. Jeff Kirkland, TCU and West Virginia. And those are easy choices for folks to say that they're scared of because those teams are ranked. And because Gary Patterson's 4.25 and that defense is always good. And West Virginia has a Heisman candidate at quarterback. But they don't scare me like this game scares me. I know what we're facing against TCU and West Virginia. You know what we're facing against TCU and West Virginia. We don't see this kind of game with Army all the time. Even Florida Atlantic. We see more Florida Atlantic type games than we do Army games. Because Tulane runs the triple option, but they didn't run it like this. Like, would you want to schedule Navy? No, not if you're looking to just get a W. And that's what this game is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a beat-em-up game. It's supposed to be our version of Savannah State, of Kennesaw State, of Austin Peay. But no, because Oklahoma schedules fiercely, let's go get Army. And let's go get Army after 10 wins. Now, I know they scheduled this game in 2009, but you give them a point, right? There is no easy game on this schedule outside of Kansas, and honestly, I sometimes think that Oklahoma wishes they could remove Kansas from the schedule, and like a lot of teams, but all of a sudden, Kansas is winning football games, man. I mean, they won a game, and it was a good win. And if you got I think it was like the running back. I think the running back for Kansas had like 22 points in fantasy. So maybe they're not the doormat that they've been for years, although they probably are. See, Sean Robertson. If we win the toss, do you think we will receive? No. I think we defer. I think that's just what we do now. I think Bob started it. I think that's just what we do now. Let's see. Should you run the ball to keep Army's offense off the field and to keep OU's defense from being exposed? If the defense needs to be hidden from being exposed, we got bigger problems on the defense than even I thought. Because that ain't what I want. I want those kids out there as much as possible against this triple option team, if for no other reason, but I want to know who can tackle. Because what we saw against Iowa State was, half of y'all still can't tackle. And I want to know after this week what changed, if anything. Let's see. Jake Franklin, what do you got? I would love to see a vocal leader on the sidelines like Baker was. Do you see anyone on the team that guy this year? If so, who? Justin Broyles. Justin Broyles is the talkingest, trash talkingest football player on the field, outside of maybe Curtis Bolton. And both of those guys have become big contributors to the team. Matter of fact, Curtis Bolton leads the team in tackles. Who saw that one coming? Like, who bet on Curtis Bolton to lead the team in tackles after 3 games back in July? Nobody. Put your hand down. Curtis Bolton is showing everybody up, and I'm proud of him. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. But between both of those guys, you're seeing vocal leaders. You're seeing guys that talk trash, hype people up on the sideline. And Baker had the camera on him all the time, and that's why folks knew him as a vocal leader, and because every time the camera was on him, he was talking. But there are lots of guys on that sideline that ain't on the level of Baker as far as being the quarterback and being the Heisman Trophy winner that are doing plenty of talking. Lots of vocal leaders out there. We just don't necessarily get to see them on TV all the time, which is one of the reasons why you subscribe to 24/7 Sports and OUinsider.com, where you can read about this stuff on the VIP board. Let's see. Maroon 5's performing in the Super Bowl. Yeah, only way that gets worse is if Nickelback comes over to open for them. That's ridiculous. I hate that. Jeff Kirkland says Kennedy Brooks will get some reps this week and could be the breakout guy we're looking for. And that's Trey Sermon's job. I mean, nobody was looking for Rodney Anderson, so I see your point, right, that Kennedy Brooks will get some reps this week. But it's Trey Sermon's job, right? And Lincoln said that. Lincoln said he's definitely our number one. So they want Trey to take the job. They're not going to rule out that other folks could take the job from him, namely TJ Pledger, Marcellus Sutton, and Kennedy Brooks. But people forget the preacher man has rushed the ball 29 times for 156 yards. He's averaging 5.4 yards per carry. I mean, what else do you want from him? Honestly, I'm honestly asking. Because all I'm hearing is critiques about a kid who's averaging 5 yards a clip. I remember when that was still a big deal. Like, what do you expect him to do? What do you expect any of them to do? Honestly. You know, I mean, Rodney Anderson had a breakout game against FAU, 5 carries for 100 yards, 2 TDs. But that wasn't going to be every game for him. He was going to have a bad game. They all have bad games. But I don't get this wanting to dump on Trey Sermon and Marcellus Sutton or even move TJ Pledger to the one back. Nah. Earn it. And nobody's earned it except Trey. And Trey earned it off of his play last year. What do we know about Kennedy Brooks last year? That he redshirted? What do you know about TJ Pledger last year? That he was at IMG Academy. Look, I want the kids to have opportunities, and they're getting opportunities. But don't take the job from Trey Sermon because what? Because he averages 5 yards a carry? Come on, man. Do better. I love you, Jeff. Do better. See, Bradley character. Barely made it through. This is the defense's chance to shut some people up in the media. Do you think they will show out? It's a very good point. Because one of the things that the defense has been saying, one of these vocal leaders like Justin Broyles, honestly, and Kenneth Murray Jr. is we're tired of hearing all about the offense. We're tired about how the offense has to bail us out. We're tired of this story and this narrative about how we're not a great defense. Well, number one, all those stories are true, and all those narratives are true. And y'all have said out loud, y'all want Mike Stoops to be your defensive coordinator. Well, if you want to be your defensive coordinator, go play for him. Go shut me up. Go shut all of us up. But we ain't see it. That's the thing, though, man. Come on now. You know, if you're going to talk about it, be about it. That's all I'm saying. So this is it. This is a good point. Bradley brings up a good point. This is your opportunity to be about it against Army. Shut them down. Shut them out. Give up fewer than 200 yards rushing against a team that averages 306 a game. That'll shut everybody up. That'll put everybody on notice, and they'll start to talk about you like they did against Florida Atlantic and UCLA. But I will continue to say, even if they do that, I still give them just a B, man, because they ain't played nobody. They ain't played nobody. And when they had an opportunity to play people like Georgia, what happened, man? Now, a lot of that is scheme, and we talk about that. But if you're going to take shots at people, especially folks that get paid to cover the team, go shut them up with your play on the field. We can all talk. We all do talk. This channel is talking. You know? But for my part, when I say I'm going to upload a video, I upload a video. Right? And it needs to be worth your time. And it needs to be timely. It needs to be on point. You know? It needs to keep you engaged. It needs to be the kind of thing you want to watch all the way to the end. Still in this day and age, 8 to 10 minutes, 17 minutes, that's a large chunk of time for a lot of people. And if I'm not producing the goods, and people are saying I'm not producing the goods, hey, something needs to change on my end too. So that's how I look at the defense. You got to shut people up with your play on the field. And you got to do it against people that matters, right? I mean, what if I came out with a recap video of the Saturday game on Monday? How useful is that to you? No, you got to do it on time. You got to do it when it matters. Period. So yeah, Bradley brings up a good point. Go hit somebody. Go stop them from doing the thing that they want to go. Go impose your will, as they say in football. Let me see what else we got in here. Did I miss something? I missed something. I'm sure. I agree at Jeff. What did Jeff say? I just don't want our QB to be our leading rusher. Why? Now, I see a lot of folks are agreeing with Jeff. Why? Why don't you want your QB to be your leading rusher? Because you think it says something bad about your running backs? Why? I don't see anything. Why do you want that to be the truth? Seriously, I'm dead serious here. Why is it a bad thing that Kyler Murray leads the team in rushing? Why is it a bad thing that the best player in college football leads the team in rushing? What? Why? What does that say for you? I don't follow that logic. Because the logic that I have is that Kyler Murray is the offense. The offense is Kyler Murray. And if the offense is running zone read and RPO options where he has a chance to run with the football and the field is wide open to him, let him take off and get on the ground. As Lincoln said, I don't coach with fear, and I trust Kyler to be a good decision maker, to make the right decision and the right play, to get out of bounds and to get down. And so far, Kyler Murray has done that. I'm perfectly fine with handing the offense over to him. And if he's the person that was responsible for 500 yards of offense by himself, why do we have a problem with that? Why is that a bad thing? As y'all like to remind me, we're here to win football games. And if winning football games means Kyler Murray needs to put up 800 yards rushing, let him. Why is that a bad thing? Why are we talking about Kyler Murray leading the team in rushing and not the team missing tackles? That's a thing. Like what if it was Kenneth Murray Jr. who had 77 tackles in one game of football? Would we be dunking on the rest of the defense? Or would we be talking about how, wow, Kenneth Murray Jr. is an outstanding linebacker? I mean, what are we doing here? Why are we picking on that? He could get hurt. Yeah, he could. He's playing quarterback. That's what happens, man. And we knew that when he came back and he said, yo, I want the money, but I also want to play football. We knew that he could get hurt. And he could still get hurt throwing a football, let alone handing it off. Cheap shots happen everywhere, all the time. And if you're going to play the game, play it the way you know how. Now, nobody's saying, Kyler Murray, go diving for first down. That's not what anybody's saying. But if he's playing the game scared, do the Vontae Davis and leave. You know, I mean, I don't know how to interpret not wanting Kyler Murray to lead in rushing. I don't care who leads in rushing. I care that they win football games. Seriously. I just don't do it. You know, like I don't do the super chat to call people out. Right? That's not what this is about. But I can't get with that take. I can't get, and I'm trying to see good reasoning as to why I should get with that take. So please, feel free. Drop in the chat why you think that Kyler Murray shouldn't be leading the team in rushing. I just can't get with that one. New to being a young follower. Sorry I'm late. I will get back. You're good, fam. It's all love in here. $2 from Mason Hastings. Now, Robert, I think Kyler can take some hits. Nah, I don't want him taking hits. Nobody wants him taking hits. But hits are part of the game. That's what I'm getting at, guys. Hits are a part of the game. Extra hits, RJ. He isn't super big. Robert, I get that. I get that. But guess who else isn't super big? Lamar Jackson wasn't super big, dog. Tell me what Kyler Murray is doing that Lamar Jackson wasn't doing. You know, Kyler's a better athlete than Lamar Jackson. Can we agree on that? So if Kyler Murray's a better athlete than Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson did everything that he did at Louisville without getting destroyed, and he didn't, why can't we think that Kyler Murray could do the same? Why do we want to be the team that wraps our quarterback in bubble wrap? I didn't see anybody at Louisville doing that, man. They said, Lamar Jackson, go do your thing. Knowing that dude's job was to play football. Pivot to that for a second. Lamar Jackson needed to keep himself upright so that he could continue to play at the next level. Right? Kyler Murray's not going to be taking any more hits after this season. It's done. It's over. This is his year to play college football. And if him leading the team in rushing means that he's leading the team to a national title, and he took some hits, right? I mean, I get you though. I get wanting to keep the kid healthy. I get that. I'm just saying that him leading the team in rushing doesn't negate him being healthy. You know, I mean, many of those runs that he has, like the one he had against West Virginia last year, it was wide open. Everybody went with the play. Everybody went with the running back. Kyler Murray went 66 yards because the Red Sea parted. You know, if he had 4 more of those, he'd have had, 240 yards rushing? He'd have led the team. That's the way that I see Kyler Murray working out. I see misdirection. I see people trying to follow the football. And sometimes they're going to try to key in on Kyler Murray. He's going to hand the ball off, and then Trey Sermon, Kennedy Brooks, TJ Pledger's going to go to the house. I think if Kyler Murray's running the football or leading the team in rushing, it means that the rest of the offense is doing just fine. It means that Hollywood Brown is open for those 75-yard touchdowns because he's getting one-on-one coverage because they're using the extra man to spy Kyler Murray. I just think that it all opens up. And I think that is the reason why, to your point, if he gets hurt, OU's kind of screwed, right? But if he's playing scared and we're telling him don't take off running, but the offense stalls and we can't convert 3rd and long, and all of a sudden that partnership with Hollywood Brown dries up and we're saying, Kyler, don't take off with the ball to go get the first down because we don't want you to get hurt, we can lose the football game. So I mean, you're asking to weigh, do you want the kid to get hurt or do you want to win the game? Right? And that's an uncomfortable place to be, and that's just where we're going to have to live as football fans. We're going to have to watch the kid play. We're going to have to trust the kid to do the right thing. And so far, he's done the right thing, and there's nothing in Kyler's game that tells me. Matter of fact, I would make an argument that Baker Mayfield was more of a reckless runner than Kyler Murray. You know, just watching Baker try to fight for extra yards, and you're yelling at him to get out of bounds, to go, yo, man, don't get hurt. I've never seen Kyler Murray do that. I always see him step out. He always just gets the yards, gets out of bounds, gets back to the sideline, or gets back to the center of the field, gets back to the hash mark. You know, that's what I see. Let me see. I like that hop in the end zone. True. But I think that's like his trademark hop now, isn't it? Let me see, Bobby. Kyler is just nasty, and his athleticism is off the charts. He is yet to break for 50 plus, but I see at least 6 before the season ends. 6 rushing TDs. I'd say that's a conservative estimate. But yeah, Tanner Mordecai looks like he can play. Might be some drop-off from Kyler Murray, though. We said the same thing about Baker, man. I'm not even prepared to say that these kids are going to have drop-off anymore because also take this into account. We're seeing spread quarterbacks come in vogue in a big way because they're doing things like what Pat Mahomes is able to do, which is really make all the throws. But why are they able to make all the throws? Because they're throwing the ball all around the yard from a very young age. I mean, the point is made that they're getting thousands of more reps in than the generations before them because the offenses that they run are predicated on them throwing the ball 35, 40 times a game. So I'm not even prepared to say that there's going to be a huge drop-off from Kyler Murray if Tanner Mordecai is the guy. And I'm not even sure that Tanner Mordecai is going to be the guy. You know, you got Austin Kendall, you got Tanner Mordecai, you also got Spencer Rattler coming in. You know, and I think that Spencer's going to redshirt, but also we thought that Kyler Murray wasn't going to be the same kind of quarterback that Baker is. And he's not, and yet he's putting up the same numbers, right? And a lot of folks are talking about system, a lot of folks are talking about athleticism, a lot of folks are talking about once a generation. It's all of it. If Lincoln Riley does not know how to adapt his system to his quarterback, the quarterback can't thrive. And if the quarterback can't adapt to the system, the quarterback can't thrive. It's all of it. And I think that every quarterback that Lincoln Riley has invested in, has decided is the guy, has flourished. We can take that all the way back to Texas Tech. Every one of his guys has been good. They've all been good. So whoever wins the job is going to be fine because Lincoln Riley's the guy, right? Let me see. Kyler's going to torch Army in the air. Tired of hearing how he can't throw. Only same stats as Baker last year, only throwing dimes. 67% of his passes, man. He went 21 to 29 for 348 against Iowa State. The best player on the field all day. You know? Added 77 yards on the ground. 425 yards of offense. He's a player. He's a player. Would our D be a lot better if we could just tackle. Yeah. Yeah. So did Kyler grow, or was Sumlin that bad? I think Sumlin was that bad, judging by what's going on in Arizona. My God. Everybody was so high on Khalil Tate. Everybody. So high on him. Guy rushed 1,500, threw 1,500, something like that. Something stupid. Running Rich Rod's offense looked great. You know, he's a fantasy All-American. And then Kevin Sumlin gets there and he turns to garbage. And anytime you got that kid throwing the ball 35 times a game, that ain't what you want. You want to talk about somebody getting hit, and you want to talk about somebody leading the team in rushing. Khalil Tate at Arizona was supposed to be that dude, and he ain't. And I got to say that's Kevin Sumlin. Because Kevin Sumlin not only did this with Kyler Murray, he did this with Kyle Allen. You know, it's just a bad situation over there at A&M, or maybe it's Sumlin. You know, maybe it's time to take a look at him. Gerald Mosley, will the same influx of talent happen at D tackle as at DN? No, because there are fewer D tackles than there are DNs. That's one of the reasons they're so valuable. It's because there just aren't a lot of 6'3", 330-pound dudes with wiggle and can move. I mean, that's why Michael Thompson was a 4-star recruit, because he played defensive tackle, not defensive end. It's really hard to play defensive tackle. It's much harder than playing defensive end. You know, it's one of the reasons you look at defensive ends and say, can I blow that guy up into a tackle? Right? I mean, if you don't have the frame and you don't have the weight, you can't do it. So, no, I don't think anybody recruits on that level. Even Alabama, I think they can throw a rock and hit a defensive end. I think they actually do really have to go find defensive tackles like everybody else. And that's one of the reasons why Clemson is a monster. Is because Brent Venables have convinced a bunch of those guys to come play at Clemson. And now they go like 7 deep when they talk about all-American candidates and guys that are going to play in the league next year. 7 that he can rotate in on the defensive line. That's ridiculous. They're monsters down there. Clemson, South Carolina, my goodness. Let's see. What else we got here? I said it all along, you guys can have Mizzou. Well, AJ, who's a UGA fan, is getting 15 points against Missouri. Meanwhile, Alabama is a 27.5-point favorite against A&M. So I don't know. Maybe UGA just ain't that good. Maybe Drew Lock can light them up, because Drew Lock actually did light up UGA last year. And I think this year he might be coming for a Georgia Scout. We'll see. Mecole Hardman might not be able to save y'all this time, dog. Justin Fields might not be able to save y'all this time. Roquan Smith ain't walking through that door, Dan. You know? Sonny Michel ain't walking through that door, dog. Nick Chubb ain't walking through that door, dog. I don't know. I think Georgia might be on upset alert. Real talk. Let me see. I want to see Hollywood versus Trey Brown. Man, they need to put that third race on pay-per-view. I'd watch that. Bring back Jeff Badet. Let them all 3 go. 40 yards. Man, that'd be fun. Let's see. What else we got here? Thinking we flipped Chris Steele. You know, I reached out to him, and I reached out to some people around him. I don't think so. I do think that if USC keeps losing football games like this, it becomes a bigger possibility. But from talking to Chris over the summer and getting to know him, I think he always wanted to go to USC. I think he enjoys being that close to home. He had opportunities to go to Florida, South Carolina, Oregon, and Oklahoma. And he said out loud, I know USC. It's right by my house. I like being close to home. I thought that at one point I wanted to leave. Turns out I was wrong. I like being here. So, yeah, I think that Oklahoma could be on the radar. But I think that kid's going to USC regardless. I really do. He just doesn't like that they're losing and they're getting torched. SBC Bates, how about Lincoln laughing at the notion of Baker and Kyler aren't as good as a scheme? He's done that before because he keeps getting asked this question. And it's vexing because he sees the kids in practice every day and he knows what kind of people they are. But I honestly could say that I expected him to laugh. I just did. Because he's laughed about it with Baker. Gregory, let's be real. Do you agree Stoops is common denominator below it? Bro, I appreciate the $10 super chat, but I got a playlist that's called Fire Mike Stoops. That's my answer to your question. I've been talking about this for like a year. Literally been talking about this for a year. So, like I said, I appreciate the $10 super chat, but like going back through the catalog of the 500 videos on this channel, you'll find out everything I know about and what I think about Mike Stoops. You know, and what I come back to is The kids love him. And I think that's his real saving grace. The kids love him. They absolutely adore them some Mike Stoops. I never hear about kids really getting really upset about it, except in rare instances. Ricky DeBerry was upset, right? Who knows what's going on in Caleb Kelly's head? Uh-oh. Who knows? Yeah, that's weird. Picture down! Picture down! Let's see what we got. Woo! It's back. It's back. That was weird. What'd y'all do? What'd y'all do? I don't know. What'd y'all do? Let's see if it comes back. Can you hear me? If you hear me, shout out. All right, so let's talk about what's going on. I use OBS to broadcast, and I can see my broadcast feed here live, but we cannot see it on the live stream. So now I am diagnosing what's going on with the live stream, and I got it back by switching the camera, which is just really weird. Wait a second. What was racist in here? What's racist? Y'all, black jokes. Okay. That's where we at right now. Screen goes black, we start making black jokes. All right. Stop. 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 Sorry, I tripped over the plug. Trapper! Very cool. I appreciate y'all letting me know that you could hear me. That was weird. That was weird. That wasn't a hack or anything. That was totally on my end. I'm not even sure what happened. Cause like I clicked between cameras, and then the camera came back. So for those of you that don't know, I use a different camera to do the live streams than I do to record the videos, which is another reason with picture and stuff. But we also talk about iMac, and we also talk about MacBook and how much of the data can be pushed out. One of my friends works in IT, and he's like, yo, you just need a stronger, faster computer. So now we're saving up for that, which is mostly where these super chats are going. It's just going into the jar back there. Nice shirt. Hey, I was wondering who's going to notice my shirt, but I'll probably get more to talk about it tomorrow. Hey, babe. Aren't you supposed to be at work? Aren't you supposed to be doing your CDL shift? Right? No? Okay. She in the live chat. She's not supposed to be. She's supposed to be talking to folks at the Y. I hope this doesn't get her in trouble. However, this would be a really cool thing to take to work, to be like, yeah, I was called out because I found out because I was watching your boyfriend's live stream. Let me see. Camera have a sleep mode setting turned on, maybe. I don't think so. I don't think so, because we've done 4-hour live streams before, which we'll probably never do again. So I don't think so. How foul is that Auburn only dropped 2 spots? I don't think it's foul. I don't think it's foul. LSU's a good football team, and I picked LSU to beat Auburn. I don't think it's foul. I think it's fine. You know, I think that the precipitous drop is nobody's actually talked about what I thought was the biggest drop. I'm calling you out because I can. You in my live stream chatting when you told me you got to be on CDL shift. That's why I'm calling you out. Talking to Laurel. Let me see. Ben Barber. Hey, RJ, will the storms be a factor on Saturday's game? There's supposed to be 7 inches of rain on Saturday. I think so. And I also think that helps Army, right? Because they're running the ball in the rain. And as much as we talk about being balanced to Oklahoma, we like throw the ball. We like throw the ball 50% of the time. And it's hard to throw the ball in the rain, man. It's really hard. And they'll try to do it, but it's really hard. And it means it's a low-scoring game. And if it's a low-scoring game, that also favors Army. Live stream the game, bro. No. Number one, it's pay-per-view. I'm not trying to pirate the game so that everybody can watch it for free. Nah, kick in. I kick in. You kick in. Kick in. Or just catch the recap video later that night. Nah, I'm not live streaming the game. Top 5 for the Big 12. Like top 5 teams? I mean, just look at the standings. Oklahoma, and then 1 through 5 is not Oklahoma. About that. Now, for real. You got Oklahoma, you got TCU, you got West Virginia. I think TCU is better than West Virginia, right? Then you're talking about Tech and Texas, right? I mean, it gets real thin real fast. That's also a problem for the Big 12. The SEC can go deep. The ACC can go 4 deep. The Big 10 can go 3 deep. The Pac-12, I don't even know who runs the Pac-12 right now. Is it Washington? Is that who we're betting on? Oregon? Is that who we're betting on? Stanford? Nah, man. The Pac-12 is the 4th worst power conference team. Has to be. Has to be. And I would rather watch grass grow than Big 10 football. My God. It's just boring. Let me see what else we got here. I thought Fox was broadcasting all OU games. You'd be wrong. I mean, they have the rights to it, and they've also made it pay-per-view. It's a pay-per-view game. Ooh, we just came up on an hour. And I think I just went over because the stream dropped out for a second. So, if you're in the chat, let me shout you out. Say what's up. And we will catch you on the flip side tomorrow, where we're going to talk about the 2 dudes that need to show up to work if Oklahoma's going to beat Army tomorrow. Like, for real. Let's see. Oh, Ben Thorpe just said you can listen live on the TuneIn app. So for those of you that can't watch the game or don't want to pay for the game, you can listen to Toby call it on the radio on the TuneIn app. Let's see. So Ryan Bustos. Who are my picks for the Final Four? Oklahoma, Alabama, Clemson, Georgia. How about that? How about we go with that? Should OU look at Iowa State defensive coordinator if they fire Mike Stoops? First, they got to fire the dude. Terry, what's good? James Barber, what's good? Lloyd Grissom, I see you. Steelboy, I see you. Mason, what's good? Robert Lane, appreciate it. Hey, and I appreciate the discourse, Robert. It's all love, dog. Eric, what's good? Austin, was good? Daniel, was good? Free Ray, I see you. Jacob Franklin, appreciate the super chat and the discourse. It's all love, bro. Appreciate that. Sean Robertson, was good? Sooner Bear in the house. Mike McCoy in here. Cat J, I see you. Han Solo, I see you. Bradley Carrick in the house. Mark Raines in the house. It's me, Wolfie, was good? Wayne Thompson in the house. Hank, I see you. Rudy Lopez in the house. Jake Small, I see you. AJ, holla at you. Brock, I see you. Otis, I see you. Darren Morgan, was good, fam. I appreciate you just saying hi. I know it's hard for folks who are new to the channel. Appreciate that. Stephen Gordon, prayers up for that man. Rachel was good. Trapper Nut in the house. Stephen was good. JDCNC fan. Dukin, it's good, fam. Okie Visuals. By the way, Dukin, I told Laurel your BK joke. She laughed. Gregory was good. Cole was good. Bobby Fry. Deuces. Who else we got in here? Sean Stapleton. Let me see. Who else? Going once. Going twice. Greg Wesley was good. Gerald Mosley in the house. I'm trying to get here, man. Trying to get here. Brendan Ledlow. Let's see. What else got here? Live from the Palace of the Prairie. Yeah, still boy. Mike Hallengren. What's good, fam? Matthew Bingham. Dang, I missed most of the show. Matthew was working with a hungover girlfriend and a 2-year-old. Mad props to dude for just keeping the app open. That's what's up. 185 was good. Michael Taylor was good. Boyce Jones was good. Derek Tiger in the house. Sooner Ace, I see you, fam. Mama! Hey, Mama. Colton Henry in here. Anybody else? Dan Moore, I see you. Took my daughter to the ISU game. Told her home games are a lot better. Good for you, Dan. I appreciate that. That's cool. Free Ray, Sean Stapleton, Bradley Carriger. All right. That's it for me. Oh, my goodness. No, it's not. Dieter Cross with $20 super chat. Appreciate that. Greg Wesley was good. SBC Bates. Hey, man, I appreciate that. This channel only grows and continues to flourish because y'all watch it. That's why I do the live streams. I do the live streams for y'all, honestly. Bye, Felicia. My mama, Felicia. Oh, you spelled my mama's name right. Good for you, Steel Boy. Man, you don't know how many people mess up my mama's name. Cole Magel. So, who would you hire as defensive coordinator? I said Harlan Barnett last year, but he getting toasted at Florida State, so I guess we'll see, dog. All right, that's it for me. If you like the videos, don't forget to like and subscribe because I upload a video every single day. So it's OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. I will see you tomorrow. Deuces.